Welcome back to They Did What, your source for the internet's craziest and most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and on occasion, make fun of them. Today, we're doing the final update, or part 3, to the story I've been doing for the last few videos. I bought a police scanner and found out my wife cheated with her police patrol partner. And guys, where we left off, because I don't need to do a recap, because if you're watching this, you obviously saw the other two. We left off where the guy, he 100% found out that his wife, in fact, was cheating with her partner, the police officer. Guy caught her red-handed, and also he got a paternity test and found out that the child was not his. Poor, very tough situation. And this guy, as all of you guys who watch those videos know, this guy put up with more BS than you can just imagine. He should have cut her loose a long time ago, but some guys got to go through a hell of a lot of pain to finally learn. So he finally ended it with her. That's that. And we were picking up where it left off then. And he starts off, he says, it's been 14 months since I divorced my wayward wife, and a lot has happened since then. That's a long time between posts for this story. I moved away from the city I grew up in because I was constantly being harassed by the police. I filed complaints twice, sued them twice, and won one case. But the harassment continued. Speaking of police, you can hear the sirens. Maybe they're coming for me here. Maybe it's them for telling the story. He says here, so I decided to move away out of town because I'm always traveling for work, and I wanted to move to the countryside because I like hunting and camping. Half the time being away for work, so it doesn't really matter to me where I live. Plus, I bought acres of land to hunt and camp when I'm not running around the country working. Sounds very nice, bro. I grew up in the country, hated it, and moved away. And now in my mid-40s, the quiet countryside sounds quite appealing to me, given that I'm in a very busy area. I like a more urban area for a little while sometimes, but as I'm getting older, I'm starting to the country is starting to become a little more appealing to me because I'm getting old. Anyhow, he says, what transpired after my wife was served at my house when I was out of town was total pandemonium. She kept calling me, but I refused to answer her phone calls. 2 days after she was served, I came back home with a U-Haul to move out my things. She was home when I got there and tried to stop me, but I only took things that were mine and left everything that we shared. Probably a good idea, because she would probably fight tooth and nail over a freaking pillowcase or some dishes or something stupid like that. Just get stuff that's without a shadow of doubt yours and move on. Get out of there as soon as possible, because the more time he spent with her, the more she could BS him and con him. And this woman was pure garbage, pure trouble. That one thing after another. She knew I was done with the marriage, and everybody now knows what kind of person she was. And she can't go around manipulating everybody around me or our friends because they all saw the DNA results. In previous videos, both his family, their friends, and her family all thought he was full of crap when he said she was lying, and all that made him be the bad guy. Well, he got the results, and he made sure they all knew about it. After I finished packing all my things before I left the home we shared together for the final time, I told my now ex-wife to allow me to hold the baby for one last time, and she did. I really wish that I was the dad, and I loved the baby. When she saw me holding the baby, she started crying, saying she was sorry for everything. She is not capable of that. She's full of crap. She's losing her guaranteed meal ticket. That's what's going on here, because the dude that she was cheating on, he's married with 3 kids. He's not leaving his wife, unless, of course, that wife dumps him. I immediately gave her back the baby because I was about to start crying as well, and I don't want her to see me cry. Good idea. I was able to move in with my parents because I couldn't afford a place quite yet. My plan was to stay with my parents and continue saving money. That was before I moved out of town to the countryside, where I bought huge acres of land with my own small lake. That sounds sweet. I can hunt and camp on my own land when I'm not running around the country. I spend most of my time traveling, and I'm loving the nomad lifestyle. But when I return home, I return to a quiet place that I call my own. He's emphasizing the quiet place. Men need peace and quiet. This is when we walk home and your wives are for 45 minutes about their day. It's just guys are just like, oh my God, can I have a peace and quiet, please? It still bothered me that the only people that would suffer through this is me, my ex-wife, and the innocent baby, and not her affair partner. Although I can't say for sure that he is the father of the baby, all circumstantial evidence prove that he is. He is. It's gotta be. The fact that they've been working together for over a year and seeing each other for almost 2 years, the neighbor caught him coming to my house, presumably to bang my wife. They got exposed and he rented an apartment to meet up with my wife. I gathered all the evidence, including the DNA results, to expose him. I wanted to send to his wife. I subscribed to a paid service and was able to locate where he lived and the identity of his wife. I located his home in the suburbs, hanged out by his house, and waited till I was sure he drove to work. And his wife was home, so I went and delivered the package. Well, as understandable as this is that he wants to do this, even before I know what's going to happen, I was thinking, you know what? This could come back to bite him in the ass because this guy is a cop. I had no problem busting you before and cuffing you. He can get all his friends to torment you, and you wait to see what happens. Then one evening when I was coming back from a friend's house, I got stopped by a police officer. I wasn't speeding or having violated any law, so I was curious why he stopped me. Because you are the numero uno target of all of them. That's why, because you pissed this guy off. I don't blame you, but you couldn't have seen this coming. You couldn't have missed this. I thought it was her affair partner, but it was somebody that I hadn't seen before. I haven't been stopped by a cop in years, so this was very random to me. He claimed that I was going 10 miles above the speed limit, and I disputed his claim. He gave me a ticket anyway, saying I should appear in court. Well, if you know the court system, you know that it would cost you more to dispute a ticket, so I'd rather take the ticket and defense driving to remove it out of my record, rather than wasting time going to trial, time that could be spent doing important things. And I thought it was just for a slight aggravation. Then not even a week goes by and I get another ticket. I received another ticket for speeding again. I knew that I wasn't speeding. I knew what it was. It was the harassment. I was being targeted. This time I lost my cool because the police were knowingly taunting me. Yeah, you got his buddies on the force to give you a hard time. This is why, even though I understand why, you probably should have sent that information to his wife. You should have waited until you got your place out of town in the country when you weren't living there. Then you could send it to his wife and get the hell out of there. Not do it while you're still there in town. That's not the smartest thing, man. You gotta be. One thing you can get from your wife is learn to be calculating like her. First, he asked me for my license and registration. Then he started asking me stupid questions like if I have a warrant. After he ran my ID and found nothing, he was also asking me if I stole the car. Then he got mad when I called his question effing stupid. He orders me to get out of the car. I refused and told him to call a supervisor, that I'd done nothing wrong. He called for backup and they dragged me out of the car very violently and cuffed me. I had lacerations on my hands, cut lips, and back pain from them beating me up. I spent the night in jail and my parents had to bail me out. They knew exactly what it was all about and I filed a complaint against the arresting officers. I would have used everything I could to sue these guys and the city. See, he should have waited to send the information to that dude's wife after he bought property and moved. My ex-wife, affair partner, was smart enough to let others do his dirty work. My parents thought it was too risky for me to stay in town, and I wanted to move out of the country because the police here are out to get me. Literally. I was lucky they didn't plant any kind of evidence in my car, and that may have been, and then I may be doing time, lose my job, my freedom. So I'm not going to risk my livelihood for some G.I. Joe wannabe with a badge. I filed a lawsuit against my wife and the affair partner for a false police report, sued the 2 police officers that arrested me for unlawful arrest, resulting in false imprisonment. Since this is a civil litigation compensation claim, the burden of proof is on me, so I must prove the claim against my wife, affair partner, on the balance of probabilities. I have proof the arresting officer during my so-called domestic situation case was my former wife's work partner. I have proof that I was the one that was assaulted, not her, and also record that she didn't call 911 but called him. I have proof of ongoing affair between the officer and my wife. I have proof that the child isn't my biological child. I was lucky to have won a settlement from the case, and the judgment was rendered against my wife's affair partner. Ha, sweet. But at the end of the day, was all that crap you went through worth it? Although the recent false imprisonment case was dismissed, and I'm going to run it back through the courts again, I went back to the police department and filed a complaint against my wife's affair partner using the civil judgment, And the last I heard, he received disciplinary action against him. And it would be on his record. I'm not sure what that kind of disciplinary action took place, or if it was all some BS story. But I know at least it would be on his record. Well, flip a coin as to what it's actually going to have an impact on him or his career or anything like that. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a cop, so I don't know how this all works. I'm sure some attorney, some police, someone in law enforcement is watching this will know a little bit more how this may go than obviously I will. The last time I heard, my ex-wife's affair partner separated from his wife. She must have connected the dots as well and found out that he was cheating piece of crap and got rid of him for good. Well, good. This is why he's taking his anger out on me. I haven't spoken to my ex-wife since then, but I heard from mutual friends that she's back working as a police officer and she's living with the affair partner in the same apartment that I caught them in. Let them have each other. They're perfect for each other. And let's just see how long those two deceitful snakes last together. That should be interesting. Within a few months, I've started dating, mostly online dating. I usually know what city I'm going to a week in advance, so I would set up online dates before I get there. I've been meeting women in every city I go to, and sometimes most of them are marriage material. I haven't thought about getting married again. I certainly hope not. And I may not get married again because I feel like I wasted many years of my life being deceived and gaslighted. That is a very abrupt ending to this story. Wish I could give you more, but there you go. But look at all the crap this dude went through. He just refused to accept the red flags and end it. And he listened to the waterworks and the crying from his wife and all that. And, a lot of guys have done that. It is what it is, but there's a point you got to move on. But all that crap. And now he's already talking about, maybe they're marriage material, maybe they're not, about his dating. After all this crap, that's the last thing to be on my mind. Frankly, this guy needs to take years fixing himself, self-growth, self-improvement, self-anything to better himself in a situation so this doesn't happen again. Because the last thing I want for this guy to happen is that he ends up finding himself attracting or attracted to someone just like his wife, because people generally have a type and they're attracted to a certain type of energy. It's kind of like how people say, why am I always... This is always happening to me. Why do I always seem to have the same type of guy? Or why do I always have the same type of girl? Because you're attracted to certain qualities, and quite honestly, the old law of attraction, and you bring these people, these situations into your life. In my life experience, the universe is interesting, and until you learn certain lessons, the same types of people will keep coming in your lives, and the same similar situations will keep arising until you learn the lesson and start standing up for yourself, being stronger, etc., and keep these people at a distance. Let them be somebody else's problem. But I wish this guy the best. I hope he certainly have learned and he's doing well. But there you go, guys. I thought you would certainly find this long tail entertaining. The third part's obviously way shorter than the other ones, but it was too much to do all together in one giant long hour-long video. So there you go. So all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.